Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Dialogue Dome. I am Max. This is Brendan, and today we're going to be talking about breakfast food.
Wonderful.
Did I
That
do it?
was that
Was
was the
that it?
third time we had to try to do that intro. Oh man. Oh
I
man,
did it.
Max, you got to get better at
I did
that.
it. I did it. I did it. Anyway, hello, everyone. We're talking
Hi.
about breakfast foods.
Yes, we're talking about
Um,
breakfast this week, as if it wasn't
yes,
relevant last week.
right.
um,
Um, so, Well, first off, I guess I should say hello. How are you doing? How's your day? Did you have breakfast today?
Me? Yes, I
Yeah.
actually did not have breakfast today. This is kind of why I wanted to talk about it because I always tend to skip breakfast, and
Really?
I need to find motivation to not skip breakfast. I just find that
Mhm.
it's just I don't know. I'm a late sleeper, and
Sure.
I like sleeping in too much, and I end up sleeping. I'm the kind of person that wakes up a half an hour before I have to leave for work, and then
Mhm.
I take a shower. 10 minutes before I leave, I down a cup of coffee and I go. Like that's just the
Mm.
person I am, and it's a bad habit I've developed. Unfortunately, in college, it was my that was my issue. Was that I
Yeah.
was always in a rush. I was always not hungover, but I was like always staying up too late, and just like my
Mhm.
sleep schedule was horrible. I still think to this day that that's where my insomnia came from. So like I don't know.
Sure.
It's I don't know. It's just never been something that's stuck with me, breakfast, and I really want that to
Hmm.
change because breakfast is, as they say, the most important meal of the day. Serving it
Mhm.
up Gary's way, blah. So,
Exactly.
it's just like it's one of those things where you need to. That was a SpongeBob reference, by the way. Um, it's just one of those things where you have to, it's a bad habit. I have got to get back into the habit of actually eating breakfast. So,
Got it. Got it. All right. So obviously you've come to me, the little cordon bleu
yes,
trained chef, to try
e-
and help you figure out
exactly.
what your ideal breakfast should be. Perfect. I understand. All right. Well,
I've come
let's
to the professional water mixer. Yes.
yes. So I guess we should start off within like what do you see is the stereotypical breakfast? What is it that you think you should have?
Think I should have or what I want to
Should have
have?
or what you want to have, I guess.
Okay.
What is it? What do you
What
see
is my
breakfast
ideal
being?
breakfast when I think of breakfast?
Yeah. Do you go for
Bacon,
the full English or
bacon, eggs, and toast.
bacon, egg, and toast? That's a pretty good one.
Hmm.
Fairly standard.
Hmm.
Very American
Very,
fare for
very
sure.
American. Yes, for me, it's mostly
Mhm.
it's to be more specific. It's bacon with scrambled eggs,
Mm.
particularly with a piece of slightly toasted toast, not like burnt to a crisp like my mom loves.
Sure.
And then on top of that, like butter or jam or something, just something on top to make it,
Mhm.
more tasty.
More interesting. That's
Yeah.
fair.
And sometimes I'll
Um,
put the eggs, scrambled eggs on the bread, which
sure.
makes it even better. So,
Okay. I mean, that's a fairly standard breakfast fare. That's fairly like it's interesting because I mean even if you talk about like a traditional continental American breakfast. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering a lot. I don't know why. The traditional continental like American breakfast is definitely like two eggs, bacon, sausage, or both, a stack of flapjacks, maybe some toast, good
oh,
sour, good sourdough toast,
I have not.
and
Hold on, I gotta
oh
interrupt you.
yeah,
I have not heard the term flapjacks in years. That just shows what part of the country we're both from, because I haven't heard it, and Max is using it. So,
this is flapjacks. What do you want? Pancakes? Like
it's
sure, all right,
pancakes to my area.
pancakes. That's fair. Uh,
Uh,
um, but like it's interesting to see like where we think breakfast is, where it starts, and what it means
yeah.
to us. Uh, what would you say you would want to do about that? Is it maybe you want to change your
Mm.
breakfast options?
Yeah, I see. Well, first off, can I just also do another sidetrack here? I love that you
Sure.
wore a Jurassic Park shirt to this episode
Oh,
because, like,
thank you.
of course, Max did this with the last one we talked about. Food, he wore a Jaws shirt because it's like eating. Um,
Yep. Gotta stay on theme.
Steven Spielberg sponsor us. I had a uh not a I wouldn't call it a crisis. I had a moment,
Mhm.
like, I would say, like, at the beginning of this year, where
Yeah.
there was just this one time I started taking this new medication, which has been really changing um my not changing my body. It's been changing um my stomach. My stomach has been
Yeah.
reacting to it in not a great way. Um
Interesting.
and so it's just this medication that my therapist prescribed to me. And
Mhm.
essentially, what I've started to notice is that after taking the medication, my hunger in the morning has gone way up because I'm supposed to take it
Hmm.
right before I go to bed so that it lasts for the next day. And so
Sure.
the result of it as a side effect is that my hunger has gone way up in the morning. So I've been trying to
Mm.
look more into um change my routine when it comes to the morning, maybe look more into some
Sure.
breakfast food. So, I started investing a little bit more into cereal, which is its own conversation. But,
That's fair.
particularly right now, I've been eating a lot of Honey Nut Cheerios in the morning for kind
Mm.
of just the fiber,
Yeah.
and sometimes a banana or a bowl of fruit. That's kind of
Mm.
like my go-to thing right now. But I think what it really is I this is weird for me to say. I want to get up earlier. I never say that.
Mhm.
I want to get up earlier and kind of start looking into making fancier breakfast that wouldn't be considered quick, something that I could like actually cook. And
Sure.
I mean, I've been looking at, like, you know, top breakfast top breakfast meals in other countries, top breakfast
Mhm.
meals in Massachusetts, top breakfast meals in
Sure.
the West, top breakfast meals to a hipster.
Mm.
I don't know. Just all these articles like talking
Mhm.
about breakfast food. And so I just kind of want to, I don't know, just expand my repertoire, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, I have been going toward the more quick breakfast, but
Mhm.
what do you eat? Do you eat breakfast?
I
I
do,
feel like I'm
and
rambling.
you're fine. I do eat breakfast, and it is very interesting what people would consider breakfast. Now, I generally I have 2 eggs, over easy.
Raw. No,
Um,
I'm kidding.
no, not raw. I cook them. I have them over
uh,
easy. The yolk is like a little bit runny and all the white has been cooked and it's wonderful. I have that on toast and I usually have tea and a tomato sliced up. And I usually put like salt and pepper on the tomato itself, and that's like my breakfast. It's very simple, it's very basic, but I've also been known to have other things. Sometimes I'll have chicken, sometimes I'll have pasta, I'll have
for
uh
breakfast?
yeah. See? That's exactly the thing that I was getting into. You just questioned breakfast food.
I no, I questioned what I stereotypically as an Italian think of as dinner.
I
That's
mean, that's
all.
fair.
That's just
That's
all it is, really. But
that's fair, but, like, isn't it interesting, though, what people think of as breakfast? And, like, I'm sure many people got shocked when I said pasta as well, just like you did, that, like, it is possible to have, like, a breakfast type my goodness. It is possible to have a breakfast type pasta in the mornings, and breakfast isn't even limited to eggs, sausage, and toast. Like, it's just food. Food doesn't have a time, place, or reasoning. It's all about, like, what you need to take in during the morning in order to make sure that your day is productive, healthy, and full of energy, you need certain things to do it. And surprisingly, carbs are going to be one of those things that you need earlier in the morning
Mm-hmm.
than you would at dinner, unlike your nice little stereotypical Italian family that you've got going on there.
Yeah. Yeah. We are very stereotypical Italian. Yeah, we eat way too much at dinner.
um, but like in for example, in Thailand, there's what I'm seeing here is some sort of like rice porridge thing with an egg and some mushrooms. There's some like toast or bagels. Uh, wait, nope, that's a Western breakfast. Excuse me.
A little bit of a different region there.
There is. Let's see. There's not a whole lot of spice going on over in Thailand. There's this uh let's see. Russia has some sort of like very interesting crepe thing going on with honey and yogurt and maybe some berries. Uh here's Italy's breakfast. Let's
If you
see.
say pasta, I'm going to
Nope.
scream.
It is just it's just a biscuit. It looks like just toast and jam, maybe some coffee, and that's like it. But that's also like
That's very
France.
European. I was gonna say
Yeah,
that's very
France and Spain.
because
Coffee, some sort of pastry, and maybe fruit. But that's like it.
yeah,
That's all.
because like we have a mutual friend, our Twitch streamer Morgana LaFay.
Hmm.
She talks a lot about just eating biscuits for breakfast and biscuits and a cup of tea, and that's all that like the English need. And like that's fine with me.
I mean, I
Like that would be
guess.
great for me.
Would
I
it?
don't yeah, because it's quick, it's easy, and it gets me out the door. See, like
I guess that's true.
like I just feel like that's just like perfect for me. But like at the same time, like I don't know, like I just feel like that's a very European thing because, like you just said, it's also in Italy too, in France. Like
Right.
that's a croissant and a cup of espresso, or like an
Hmm.
americano or something like that, or a latte.
Right.
So like that's very French too, like a
Hmm.
baguette. There's a reason why everyone says baguette. It's because it's French.
Um, I want to preface real quick that we're not dietitians. And yes, I went to school for culinary
We've
arts,
said
but
this in
like
every episode that we're two idiots
we
talking on
have
the internet, and we're gonna keep saying it until it sticks. But
exactly. But we're not here to give advice, more merely suggestions. And I might even talk very scientifically about certain things that I know, but I'm not that guy. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. What I will say is here's what I believe is the like recommendation as far as like the 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 standard I think for a breakfast is you want to have some carbs. You want to be able to like carbs is the stuff that gives you energy. It produces a bunch of the sugar levels that you need in order to maintain a certain uh, uh, level of energy in there. You want to have protein because proteins are always important, building your muscles and strong physique. You want to have some vegetables for your vitamins and your minerals. You want to have water. Water is always important. So some sort of liquid, preferably tea. Tea also has a bunch of antioxidants and liquids, what have you. Like those, I think, are the general building blocks that somebody should have for breakfast. Personally, obviously, speak with your doctor and your physicians. Um, don't take our word for any of this as gospel, but like these are some things that are
Please
important and should
consult
at
your
least
doctor if you have a 4-hour erection.
these are just things
Like,
that you need to that you need to be like aware of, you know? That's all. That's
that's.
all. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Well, thank you for the advice, Max, on dieting.
Right. Thank you.
Dietitians,
Yeah.
dieting, whatever. The most millennial breakfast in the world is Australia by far. Because, like, that one
Yeah.
is a big thing. It's avocado on toast with an egg on top. That
Interesting.
is the most millennial thing. There's a reason why avocados became a millennial thing. It's because it
Mm-hmm.
trended, I believe, somewhere, and
Maybe.
it was during our generation, and then
I
we
guess.
all ordered it because it was all on Instagram or something like that, or
Mm-hmm.
Facebook. I forget where. Maybe even MySpace. Who knows? It was
Who
those
knows?
times. Um,
Who knew
but
Australia could be so trendy?
I mean, it was cool in Australia before it was cool here. So,
Exactly.
um, yeah, I'm just looking at some of the. I don't know. It's just I'm looking at some of the breakfast food in
Mm-hmm.
other countries, and it's so interesting. Like pan con chicharron, I think is how you pronounce it in Peru. Do you know what
Mm.
that is?
I know pan, if it's any close to French, that's
It's
bread.
it's a sandwich made with fried pork belly and sweet potato, rounded off with salsa, a spicy onion relish, and it
Ooh,
dates back to the Spanish rule when pigs were first introduced into the country. So it's like,
interesting.
I mean, it's crazy. And then you have like, I'm seeing this picture here you have on the side, like fried
Mm-hmm.
potatoes, like all around the edge, and that's
Interesting.
with like a cup of orange juice or a cup of coffee or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's crazy that like pork belly sandwich is considered like a stereotypical breakfast. I mean, I guess that makes sense,
Right.
but that's more lunch to me. You know what I mean?
Sure. That might even be a good dinner option as well. Like,
Yeah.
but it is fascinating finding out that like even eggs aren't the staple. Like for us, we live in America, obviously,
Or if you're
and even
Irish, the
true,
Irish make eggs with every meal. I swear to God.
right? But eggs are very stereotypical breakfast items. I'm stuttering over myself.
No, you Max's
What?
camera has a zoom gesture and he just
Oh,
zoomed it in all the way.
oh no. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Let me just real quick get it out there. Get it
Oh no, are we
get it
stuck
out of
here?
there.
Is this
There
how
it
we
is.
are now? Okay, there we go.
Yep, this is how we are now. Sorry about that. I didn't
Zoom
realize.
it in just a little if you could.
Okay.
None
Let
of
me
this is
just
getting edited out, by the way.
No, of course not. Oh, what a wonderful world we live in. Come on. There it is.
Perfect. Okay, that was perfect.
Thank you.
That was so funny because you said, I don't even remember what you said, but you said a sentence and you like enthusiastically
Talking
said
about
it.
eggs.
You said talking about eggs and it zooms all the way into your face. That was great. Oh my god. The people on YouTube had something special to watch
Ah,
there.
definitely.
Oh my
This is
god.
going to be so the scuff is I guess a part of this. We have to mention that. Uh eggs are very stereotypically American type thing.
Or Irish.
Or
You know
Irish.
what's
Well, I mean, there
interesting?
are many places that do eggs for sure.
Well, I'll just say this: it's eggs are very popular here in New England, and the reason why is because of the Irish. I mean, the Irish
Yeah,
immigrated here to um, the U.S. during the potato famine. A lot of them really came
right.
here, and before that, it was mostly English people living here. And they were, again, biscuits and tea. And then, of course, which,
Mhm.
the Boston Tea Party is all into that. But, like, it really comes down to the eggs came here to America really when the Irish landed here. That was a big,
Mhm.
big, big change for this area.
For sure.
Anyway, keep going. Sorry,
Um,
I had to
no,
digress.
I was mostly just saying that it's interesting that more places don't have eggs as their staple. But that's also coming from our particular perspective where eggs have been the staple for hundreds of years.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's about where people have come from, their upbringing, where uh uh how things develop in countries over time, uh whether or not they're landlocked or by the ocean. It's fascinating finding the history of foods in general, um between different countries and what spices they have and their relationships to the world. So the fact that you wanted to talk about breakfast, episode is a very deep historical adventure and romp through time and
See,
space.
that was totally and 100% planned for. I saw that we were talking about this in the last episode. I saw the future, I projected it, I worked with the algorithm, and now we're here.
um so I guess really I think we have an understanding of where you kind of want to be as far as breakfast goes. It's really just kind of getting into that mindset, and understanding that you don't even have to have eggs every breakfast if you didn't want. Like, there's you could have smoothies, dim sum. You could have toast in various forms and with all sorts of different toppings, salmon and cucumbers and whatever.
You can have
It's
toast.
exactly.
Toast. So
Uh,
much
uh,
toast.
I mean, Greece is like yogurt with honey and maybe some nuts. Like it's really just a matter of like where you want to be in your breakfast life.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's more about just exploring other options, I guess. And like,
Hmm.
another one you were talking about, like something that I would never consider breakfast.
Hmm.
Nicaragua has one of the most interesting signature breakfasts I've ever seen, which is
Yeah,
it's basically a dish of rice and beans.
interesting.
It's basically, so it says it's a typical Nicaraguan breakfast consists of eggs,
Hmm.
queso, gallo pinto, which is a corn tortilla, a
Hmm.
fresh juice, and a coffee.
Interesting.
Sometimes it has sugar, oil, butter, that kind of stuff. But like, I would never consider rice breakfast unless it was
Hmm.
like oatmeal or like
Some
something,
sort of
some sort
porridge,
of
right?
porridge. Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
And then like, I don't know, there was one other one I saw. Here, Argentina's just a bunch of croissants, just
Hmm.
all croissants. Um,
Right.
yeah.
I mean, there's this one. Vietnam has pho. Uh,
Oh, interesting. Oh, that's kind of
as a
cool.
popular breakfast
I
item,
guess I'm going
which
to Vietnam.
right? Uh, it's really just it's so interesting to find out where a lot of this history comes from, why a bunch of these countries have the breakfast food items that they have, and it you can see definitely how they were influenced based on where they're at. Japan probably has a lot of fish options because they're in the middle of the freaking ocean. There's water all around them. And so, of course, they have fish options. You have Italy, which was next to Egypt, which was like for the longest time the breadbasket of the world, where all of the grain and wheat was made. So there's like bread options and pastas and fish fucking everywhere and honey and it. So really breakfast is as important to the rest of the world as it is to Americans and Europe and Asia. It's important. Breakfast food is important, and no one has a right or wrong way to make breakfast. I want everyone out there to understand, if anything, that one thing. Food is subjective, food is important, and there is no wrong way to make food as long as it tastes good.
Hmm.
If it tastes good, eat it. Have it. That's all I wanted to say.
You could tell how passionate Max is. Yikes.
I am very
Yeah.
passionate about food.
Yes.
Food's
We
important.
haven't
Like,
mentioned Belgian waffles. I'm surprised that didn't come up sooner.
really?
Yeah.
What is it about Belgian waffles?
Well,
Is
first of
it the
all, they're
fact that they're
Belgium.
not
They're not Belgium.
is the fact that they're not actually from Belgium? Yeah.
Well, so funny enough, Belgian waffles are from Belgium. There
Oh,
are
they are.
waffles from Belgium. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That
I guess I'm
actually
thinking of
is.
I think I'm French fries.
You're
which aren't
thinking of
actually
French fries, which are
French.
not French. No, Belgian waffles did originally come from Brussels.
Nice.
It's Belgian waffles across the rest of the world, but in Belgium it's called Brussels waffles, which is
That
weird.
makes sense.
But anyway, it's basically just waffles, weirdly enough, served with whipped cream, chocolate spread, fruit spread, sometimes ice cream on top. That's so
Ooh,
interesting to me. Ice cream's always been dessert for my brain.
sure.
You know what I mean?
A lot of
But like,
sugar in it.
I'm just surprised Belgian waffles didn't come up sooner because that's like a signature thing for some people. I love
Very
Belgian
true.
waffles, but
Yeah.
I have to have a very hungry stomach for a Belgian waffle because those things are
Sure.
huge.
That's fair.
You know?
I love waffles of any kind, all shapes and sizes. Waffles are very good. The little cups that hold the syrup and butter, and you just crack. You have egg on top of that just kind of oozes out
Yeah.
everywhere over it.
I don't
So
really
good.
like the fact that America has fast foodinized breakfast either.
Yeah.
Because that's something that I of course leave it to America to make, us Americans fat on breakfast. I mean, like there's
Right.
just so much there's just so much like fast food already, and then they decided to
Mhm.
like Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks.
Mhm.
That's fast food breakfast. It's pre-wrapped. You stick it in the oven for like 10 minutes and then it's done. Or not even that.
Right.
Like at Starbucks it's like 2 minutes. Like they
Mhm.
blast that shit in an oven for like 2 minutes and then it's like still sizzling hot when you bite into it the first time. And
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just like, what is the deal with fast foodinizing everything? Like,
I don't
breakfast is
know.
supposed to be enjoyed, or it's supposed to be something that you just grab and go. But it was never
Right.
supposed to be fast food. I mean, like, what's your opinion on fast food breakfast? Because, like, I feel like as a cook, you must have other
Mhm.
opinions on that. Someone who takes the time to
I
make breakfast, you must have some
yeah.
kind of opinion.
I'm going to say that, uh, I mean, even with our previous episode talking about fast food just in general, I'm not a huge fan of the fast food industry,
Yeah, we had a previous
period.
episode where we talked about fast food, so go listen to that if
Right.
you really want more
For sure.
insight on our favorite
Um,
fast food places. But
I've never been a huge fan of the fast food industry. I understand why it exists. Like, I'm not even going to deny that it shouldn't exist or try and fight that fight because it exists for one very specific reason, and it's the commuter. You know,
oh
somebody who
yeah,
needs to get from point A to point B, and it's usually work in some fashion, and they need to eat, but they don't have time. That's why fast food exists.
hmm
Now, that being said, I'm going to say something very controversial, and it
oh
is just
duck.
an opinion. It's just an opinion. I hate the McDonald's sausage, egg, and cheese McMuffin.
You couldn't even say that without hiccuping.
I know. I'm sorry.
Sausage, egg, and cheese McMuffin, huh? You
I
don't
hate
like
it.
it?
I
Okay,
hate the McMuffins. Like and it's not even the fact that it doesn't taste good because
that is
I will still eat it.
one
It's
very
not
controversial opinion, my friend.
It
Yeah,
is a very controversial opinion. People are
that
going to be
is
up in arms.
something I don't really grab like McDonald's breakfast unless I'm like on the road. Like if I'm
Sure.
like I've only ever really done this one, or if like I'm like in an airport or something. Like
Mhm.
if it's if although nowadays I go more towards Starbucks in airports because there's a Starbucks in every airport now.
Sure.
But like if I am doing like I traveled for a wedding in 2021 all the way up to
Mhm.
Maine, like, and I left at like 9:30 in the morning and I didn't eat something. Again have this bad habit, you can tell for years of
Mhm.
just not eating breakfast. I left without eating breakfast because I had to get
Sure.
there. And it's going to take me 4 hours. And essentially, there was some stuff going on that night. It wasn't the wedding day, but it was something going on that
Mhm.
night. And I just left. I didn't even think about it. And then like about an hour in, I got really hungry. And luckily there was
Sure.
a rest stop nearby and there was a McDonald's there. And I got, and I think I got a sausage, egg, and cheese sandwich because it was just
Sure.
quick. It was easy. It was quick. It was there.
It's
That's the
quick, it's
perfect example
simple.
of why it exists.
Yes.
One thing I will say that McDonald's does incredibly well is
Mm.
their both hot and iced coffee is just
Yeah,
out of this world. I don't know what they do to it. They must put cocaine in it or something, but like
probably do.
it's just
I don't
like
know.
it it's just like so good. I don't know what it is. And then on top of that, they also have the hash brown bites.
Mm.
Oh, those are just
Okay.
mwah.
I will say that the hash browns, McDonald's hash browns are just on point.
They really are.
I don't get it, but still, like the problem I think
It's
I have with a lot of that fast food is the process. There's so much process to them that it doesn't feel like real food anymore.
Well, I mean, it
Um,
wouldn't feel like that to you, because
sure,
the good news with the rest of us who do not cook is we don't see where the food comes from.
right.
So, I mean, I do cook. Like, I cook some stuff for my Italian family, and I cook Italian food sometimes. But
Mhm.
um, I haven't really cooked much in a while, and the reality is it's because I just don't have time. But um, in all seriousness, it has to do with the fact that like a lot of us, we just don't see where it's cooked, and a lot of the times that's a good thing because if we did, we wouldn't eat it. So,
True, very true.
I'm not going to say that I haven't researched how McDonald's food is made and processed, and
Mhm.
it's gotten me to back off that quite a bit, but
For
the
sure.
reality is that it's just if you don't want to be scarred for life by what you're eating, don't watch the process on how it's made,
Mhm.
how it's raised, how it's
Mhm.
treated when it comes out of the farm, when
Right.
it goes into the processing plant. I mean, it's just
Mhm.
the American food industry is just
Oh,
something
it's
else.
awful.
It really is something
It's
else.
awful.
It's not even a word to describe how awful some of the animals are treated,
Right.
you know.
My
But
camera's freaking out. I don't know if you can see that. I'm
I
so sorry
I've
to
noticed
anybody out
that.
there.
Yeah, I don't
I don't
know.
know
Whatever.
I don't know why it's freaking out the way it is.
It got excited about the
I don't get
eggs.
it.
It's still
I
excited about the
guess.
eggs. Yeah.
Still excited about the eggs, I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, I agree that, like, it's, a and I mean, like, I can totally understand where food activists are coming from, trying to make sure that our food is treated better than what it is currently, and I'm not going to fault anybody for trying to make living conditions better for many of these animals because they really should be.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
it's it's insane to think about that we have to have all of these activists out there fighting to try and make sure that these animals have better living conditions than they already do. And it upsets me that there aren't more people fighting for those kinds of changes, but it also like it's hard to find where the line is where you're vegetarian, vegan, and I don't want to start this fight because that's one a whole other episode that we can talk about. But two, it's not even like me saying you can't do those things, but in trying to help animals become better, you're depriving many other people options and opportunities,
Mm.
I guess is all I'm saying. Uh, People don't like being told what to do and what not to do, and I certainly don't want to tell anybody what to do and what not to do, but I think there is a better way of going about it than what I have seen
Yeah. I don't know how much.
even recently. I don't know.
I don't even. And you gotta say as well. Like, I don't know how much that process has changed. I'm sure that
Mhm.
now that it's been documented, there have been changes in place. Because
Oh, for
what's
sure.
funny is that kind of stuff was never meant to be shown to the public for a reason.
Right.
And now that it has, there has to be some different method,
Right.
or at
There at
least
least has to be some
something.
dialogue anyway. There has to
Yeah.
be some dialogue between it. It's like I don't want my
Talk of.
food
Mm,
to to be that processed or even that mistreated. My food shouldn't be that mistreated.
Right. Yeah. And that's a conversation from another episode, I mean, for
Oh
sure.
yeah.
But that's something that, I mean, that's a whole can of
Mhm.
worms that we could open. But again, this is
Exactly.
not criticisms of the people who, I feel like we're defending ourselves a lot in this podcast.
Maybe.
We're not criticizing the individuals in that system
No, of
doing
course
their
not.
job like they're asked and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm criticizing the system itself and
Yes.
the questioning the morality of the decision of why it was implemented that way. Who
Right.
started it? Why did it start that way? More importantly,
Mhm.
why did it get approved? I mean,
Right.
I can understand like going back to our topic of fast food breakfast, like mass market production, like that.
Mhm.
You have to have like you can't. I can understand that like when you have that much food you have to make, it's going to look on camera like the animals are being mistreated
Mhm.
whenever there is a giant group of animals in that big of a number, regardless of what you're doing with them. You know what I
For
mean?
sure.
Like the fact that like if you like one of the things that I could talk about is the small little the small little chickens
Mhm.
in one of these documentaries for like the chicken sandwiches and like the chicken nuggets and stuff like that. They are literally in mass swarms taken by the hand by like a ball and
Mhm.
thrown onto a conveyor belt like they're objects. I mean, like
Mhm.
it's just disgusting to see that happen. But at the same time, I can kind of understand how it got there. I'm not saying I can understand why it's still happening, but I can
Sure.
understand how it got there
Yes.
because the amount of food that you need to produce in order to satisfy a company as big as say McDonald's is just
Sure.
enormous. You can't like go and individually make every single little chick feel special. Like you just can't. And I
Right.
understand from that perspective why it got to where it is. That
Mhm.
doesn't make it right. It just I can
No.
understand why it happened, so to
Exactly.
speak. And I'm not really blaming anybody or any individual in particular for keeping that trend happening, but
Sure. We want the food industry to be
it's
better. It
it's
should be better.
exactly.
Why can't it be
Exactly.
better?
I'm raising the eyebrow. That's all I'm really doing.
Yeah.
And I'm just going, why is it like
It's
this? You
not.
know?
Yeah.
And
That's not good.
yeah, and that's the problem when it comes to fast food in general, is that I feel like a lot of it has to do with, you know, mistreated animals and where it comes from. And,
Mhm.
going back to our breakfast food topic, it makes me feel a little bit more guilty about eating my egg McMuffin. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Or like my sausage egg McMuffin,
Mhm.
But it just comes down to, learning from mistakes and changing for the future, really, is what
Mhm.
it comes down to. And
Should just be making these things at home.
true, but then you have to
Shouldn't you
question.
shouldn't you just be making those at home?
Careful with that gesture, Max.
Oh, right. Sorry.
You can't do this.
It's true. You're right.
um, I um, I agree with you about making it at home, but then you have to question how the stuff you're buying in a supermarket's treated too, and that
That's
goes
very true.
that goes
But
into that conversation again. So
there's a little bit more leeway as far as supermarkets go. You could find
for
personal
sure. Oh
butchers.
yeah.
You can make friends with farmers. You can like there are ways, easier ways to find better sourced meals at home, you know.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed.
Mhm. Again, we're not trying to tell anybody how to live their lives. You want to be whatever you want to be. I don't mind. I don't care. You have every right, as both we do, to live your life to where you think the best of your ability is, and we're going to do the same. Like
Exactly. Yep. We're not criticizing
That's
anyone.
how it should be.
Yep. You make your own decisions, and we'll make ours.
Exactly.
That's what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have a decision now that I want to go visit Italy for a croissant and a cup of a cafe latte.
Nice. I would love to hit up Spain, just for like.
All right. So I'll make a mental note in the back of our head that we need to go on a cruise around Europe. Europe. Okay.
I think that would be great. I think that would be wonderful. Just
Cool.
hit up all the spots and try all of the food.
Yes. Yeah, it's so funny to me that we're talking about this because, like, you know, some people they eat to live, whereas others live to eat. I'm one of those people that lives to eat. I love eating. I love food. I will plan an entire vacation around trying food. Like, that's just who I am. And so it's just funny to me that we've started talking about Europe, and every single time I think of Europe, the first thing I think of is the food. I don't think of the, like, I had a trip to Rome in 2009 with my high school choir, and I sang at the Vatican. I saw the Roman Colosseum. I saw the Roman baths. I sang with this other choir there that was it was like a friendship event, kind of thing. And the first thing I think of when I think of that trip is me going in to a restaurant with my choir. It was a red plaited tablecloth, which is so typical of Italy, and just being served the best pasta I have ever had in my life. That's what I think of when I think of that trip. I don't think of anything that I did with my choir. I think of the food. Oh, man. So funny. Have you ever been to Italy?
I haven't been to Italy.
Okay.
I've been to Mexico. That's where I've been.
Okay, I am putting that on our list of places we gotta go. That's something we gotta do.
I agree.
I've decided.
I think that would be great. I mean, as much as I love the food, I'm definitely going to Italy for the art and the culture and the philosophy and all of that, fun stuff. But I mean, the food is good. The food is good too. I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 places in Italy that you can really, 3 really. Florence, Naples. Okay, there's more than 3.
There's a lot of places in it. What are you on about? There's 3 places.
There's only 3. I feel such an uncultured American saying that now that I say that. No, I've only been to 1, but my bucket list is Venice. I've always wanted to get fresh seafood from Venice and to experience the gondolas and some of the architecture there. And I just want to do it before it sinks. I'm really worried that place is going to sink. I'm really worried.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. Life, the world, climate change and all that stuff that more topics for other videos, and we're obviously not going to solve it all in one episode.
I don't think we're going to solve it, period.
That's true. We can at least talk about it.
I agree. Yeah. Anyway, we're getting off topic, so I think we should call it an episode. Yes, I'll do the outro this time because the intro took like 5 attempts. Oh my god. Thank you everybody so much for watching and listening to the podcast. We will see you all in the next episode where we talk about probably something that isn't food, but you know what? Food is always a topic of love and conversation for us. So we'll be back and we'll see you guys next time.